mix.com. The people's voice, the people's choice. You're now listening to 895themix.com. This place you go for personal conversation, for business information, and for spiritual inspiration. You can find us on 895themix.com. You can also find us on your phone on TuneIn Radio. 895themix.com, the people's voice, the people's choice.
Hello, everyone. This is Brian McNeil, and I'm sitting here with my beautiful co-host, Miss
Lisa Santiago McNeil.
And we want to talk to you today about something that's top of mind for everyone. It seems like we can't get away from it. It's last night's debate and this election cycle in general. We want to know your thoughts on it. We're going to share our thoughts on it now, but we definitely would love to hear your thoughts as well.
I think so.
What do you feel about? How do you feel about the debate?
I think it's comedic to me. It's almost
Comedic.
it's almost like watching Saturday Night Live before Saturday Night Live is on.
That's true. I tell you, I've done a lot of thinking about it, and to me, it's just ugly.
Yeah,
it's ugly. First off, I wonder how can anyone justify voting for Trump?
I don't know. I can't, at this point, I really can't see how anybody can. I hear lots of comments, and I read them, and I try to read them, on Facebook. Everybody's posting about it. Try to read them objectively, but it seems like what I'm hearing is, I don't care what he does. I'm for the ones that are going to vote for him. I don't care what he does or says. He is the one that we want. And it really doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to make sense to me.
That is puzzling, and that's the lightest way I could put it. I think it's absolutely crazy, first off. It doesn't take long at all for us to make any kind of list of things that he has said and done that are disqualifying.
Right.
And no matter how long a list you make, you're leaving out a lot of stuff.
Right.
When you just go from the last 30 years of him bragging about sneaking behind stage at Miss America pageants while they're all nude as if he's checking on them.
Like it is juvenile. It's almost like, and I know the excuse he's using is locker room, whatever, but it's almost like Porky's.
Yeah, it's like Porky's, and Porky's was meant to be going for the funny.
But to the extreme, juvenile, collegiate funny. He was a 59-year-old man.
And, it's been said before, once you're in your 40s, you kind of...
Who you are.
Settled in who you are.
Yeah.
So why does he want us to... It's like he plays everyone as if he's the smartest one in the room, and we're all stupid. He treats us like we're all so stupid. Yeah, I said that, but Benghazi.
But ISIS.
Last night I was reading that when Anderson Cooper asked the question of him justifying the recordings, his 2-minute response answer, he mentioned, I'm going to stop ISIS 4 times. In his 2-minute, it was locker room talk, but I'm going to stop ISIS.
Right. And she had emails. In
his 2-minute response. Really? Are we stupid? So you chose not to answer the question, is what you did.
Do you think that Anderson Cooper held his feet to the fire last night?
I think Anderson Cooper did as good a job as you can.
Compared to the other moderators?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the young lady that was his co-host, Kratsky, whatever her name was.
Yeah, I can't think of her name.
But she said, answer the question several times.
Yeah.
But he just chose not to.
First of all, he ignored her almost consistently. Mm-hmm. He responded only vaguely to Anderson Cooper.
I read this morning of his 13 statements that he made. Mm-hmm. 11 of them were just outright lies.
Yes.
Hillary did lie too. She lied 2 times. Well, one of her lies was, let's talk about her lies.
Okay, talk about her lies.
She said, in response to an audience from a question, directly an audience from a question, she said, for the first time in history, we're completely independent on foreign power sources, foreign fuel supplies. And that's not all the way true. Now, granted, this is the first time in history where we have most of our power and energy coming from our own states, but we still need oil from other countries too.
Right.
So that wasn't all the way true.
Right. And I appreciate you saying that because although I think as a household, we've decided that we are not Trump supporters. I think it's also important to be objective, that when we are saying that we are standing behind one candidate or the other, that we're not pretending to completely whitewash them.
Speaking of pretending, the whole rap about his crimes equal her crimes, kills me. I said this morning to someone on Facebook, well, how come people are trying to be objective when it comes to her and not objective when it comes to him? Right. Because him equaling her is a really hard sell.
So I'm going to go ahead and piggyback on that, and I'm going to read something that was on someone's post today. It's from Stephen Crowley of the New York Times, and it says, his gamble is plain enough. He believes he can fool a lot of the American people a lot of the time. He's decided that lying pays. It's up to the rest of us to show him otherwise. Here are the quotes. He lied about the sex tape. He lied about birtherism. He lied about the growth rate of the American economy. He lied about the state of the job market. He lied about the trade deficit. He's lied about taxes. He lied about his own position on the Iraq war. Again, he lied about ISIS. He lied about the Benghazi attack. He lied about the war in Syria. He lied about Syrian refugees. He lied about Russia's hacking. He lied about San Bernardino's terrorist attack. He lied about Hillary's tax plan. He lied about her health care plan. He lied about her immigration plan. He lied about her email deletion. He lied about Obamacare more than once, and he lied about the rape of a 12-year-old girl. He's lied about his history of groping women and their consent. And finally, he broke with basic democratic norms and called his political opponent to be jailed because in part of what he described as her dishonesty.
2 points there.
Yeah.
One is historical. Adolf Hitler wrote and said, the bigger the lie, the more people will believe it.
Yes.
He also said, a lie repeated can become the truth.
Yeah, keep saying it.
Just keep saying the lie over and over and over again, and you'll convince enough people. You won't convince everyone, but he's hoping to convince enough people.
When my kids were 5, they used to do that. I didn't do it.
Of course not.
I didn't do it.
Of course not.
You never believe me. I didn't do it. While they have crumbs around their mouths, or dirty hands or dirty faces, they're just going to deny it.
Now, think about what you just said.
Yes.
We have to treat him like we would treat our 5-year-old children.
Come on, do we really?
But he wants to be the president of us. Last night, the question was asked by another member of the audience. What are you going to do to help the African-American community to come together? And you know what he said?
What?
He didn't answer it at all.
Did I fall asleep on that part?
He probably did.
Because it was getting repetitive.
He just went right to
Benghazi.
Deleted emails. She deleted emails. You know, it's also Benghazi. Let's talk about that for just a second.
Okay.
Benghazi is an attack on a U.S. embassy before Americans lost their lives.
Yes.
3 soldiers and 1 ambassador lost their lives. During George Bush's candidacy, we had 9 attacks on American embassies, and about 114 people lost their lives. Wow. But not one time did we have any Republican congressional hearings. They've spent years and millions of taxpayer dollars. 4 people died at that time. And why no outrage then and why now? It's because they don't like her.
Right. And because he has done as much as he could with his apologize. With his apology, I apologize.
That was now what you're doing is you're meshing the Saturday Night Live spoof.
I know, and I love it. I
apologize, but he can apologize.
Yes,
Hillary did a good job about naming things that he will not apologize for. He will not do it. It's because classic narcissist tendencies. A narcissist is someone who has an inflated view of themselves, can't ever see themselves as doing anything wrong. They can't see it. That's narcissistic behavior.
Do you remember, and I know I'm dating myself and aging myself, but on the Fonz, on the Happy Days, Fonzie could never apologize.
He could never say he was wrong.
Okay. That is what I'm getting.
But even the Fonz eventually
yes, he did.
Admitted it.
Absolutely. And that's why we loved him.
Right.
That's why we loved him, because he's not.
I tell you, even the people that are pro-Trump, the Fox reporters, I like to look at MSNBC, and Fox News, and CNN, and ABC News, and
you
Yahoo
watch Fox too?
I look at all of that.
Okay.
I like to look at Fox's to compare the headlines, and I like to see their articles from their spin.
Okay.
And like, oh my gosh. It just tickles me so much, But I always read them.
Who do you find the most subjective? CNN?
Objective? Mm-hmm. CNN would be, but they're late. They follow behind. It's like they seem to follow. Really, to me, the most objective is ABC News and Yahoo News.
Really?
Yes, but CNN, it seems like their stuff comes in response to what MSNBC does. Yep. And what Fox is doing. Those two, I think, have more breaking news. But that's a good thing, too, because CNN seems like they take time
to consider.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before they jump and publish.
Yeah.
And by the time it gets to CNN, it might be a little bit later than the others, but they fully vetted it. They've got that information tight. So I like their source that way.
So if you had to talk about something on a lighter note, because we've actually, we made light of it, but is there anything you'd like to talk about on a lighter note?
On a lighter note?
Yeah.
I've never been in a locker room where we had a conversation about groping women's pussies.
Oh, I can't believe you said the word. Oh, I can't. Why do they allow them? Why did they not bleep that? Why does that word not get bleeped?
It's sensational, and it makes people listen. Okay, and bottom line, those news sources, they need listeners, they need viewers, they need people.
I guess, but I would think that the FCC would still bleep that word. It's everywhere. It's a daytime television. It's nighttime television. It's everywhere.
George Carlin used to do a skit about the 7 words you can't say on TV.
Uh-huh.
But that skit wouldn't be appropriate anymore because now you can say some of those words that he said you couldn't say.
Oh, I remember. I remember staying up after 10 o'clock and hearing stuff on TV when we weren't supposed to be awake and giggling and laughing. And now anybody says that stuff.
I don't think we're going to be able to get off this subject. We only have just a short time left.
Okay.
But I do want to say this. If we have allowed that man to get to this place, what we are essentially telling our children is you can lie, you can bully, you can insult, and get advanced. You can act like a boorish pig and potentially be the president of the United States. And are we willing to admit that to our children?
I don't know. I don't like that thought. I don't like it. I'm not saying that we need to believe that anybody can be perfect in order to be president. But I think when you have a consistent essence to your behavior as degrading and consistently not telling the truth and consistently just all of these consistent negative character traits that don't seem to line up with presidential. I thought that last question was good that they did give at the debate was say something nice, but it was a stretch.
Yeah. We're not going to be able to finish this, but in this time that we had, I just wanted to at least introduce our opinions on it.
Okay.
And we want to hear yours.
Yeah.
This has been Brian McNeil.
And Lisa Santiago McNeil.
Of 895themix.com.
The people's voice, the people's choice.